I'm new to the streets, Ken Efseroff. Today we are coming from the Westin Hotel on the west side of Manhattan at the National Investment Banking Association conference, and I'm here with Lucas Rossetti from San Francisco-based Beaconforce. Welcome to New to the Street.
Thank you for having me, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is our pleasure. So talk to us about Beaconforce. Somebody hears that name and they think of a myriad of different things that it could be. What is Beaconforce?
Beaconforce is a people management software platform that basically solves maybe the biggest problem that today CEOs have, like their business, the scariest nightmare, which is people are leaving their companies. So people today are leaving their bosses and not their company, and that happens because mostly management is broken. Management, as we know it, was conceived at the time when Henry Ford, about 100 years ago, was building his Model T, and everything was about labor efficiency. But in the last 100 years, many things have changed out there, especially in people expectations, but nothing major has changed in how we manage people. So what we do is we provide the managers and the companies with a tool that help them understanding how the people are doing in real time, and in order to help them to take prompt solutions.
Why does the world need Beaconforce now?
Again, because it's really like the biggest problem that CEOs have. Like people risk is at the top of in the priorities of CEOs, and data shows us that about 70% of people today are leaving their bosses, not their companies, because of strained relationships with their managers. And that happens because managers get promoted based on their functional skills, but that doesn't mean that they know how to manage other people, they don't know how to manage stress, communication.
If I was a CEO of a company, no matter how big or small it is, why would I want to put my money into Beaconforce?
Into Beaconforce, because you can get you can get real benefit, and it takes just 3 to 6 months to see the ROI of your investment. You improve right away productivity, talent retention. You can actually, for the first time, act predictably and solve problems before they happen.
So I have to play devil's advocate here. On the other side of what you guys are doing is privacy.
Privacy?
And an employee's privacy, their thoughts or stuff that they might not want the employer to know. How do you combat that issue?
Thank you for asking, because that was one of our biggest concerns. So first of all, the adoption of the platform is completely voluntary and anonymous. So what we have seen so far is that people just feel good about having the opportunity to share their feedback and their perception on how they're doing at work. What we have seen is that in this mechanism, we have more than 80% adoption, completely voluntary of the platform.
When you say voluntary, you mean for the corporation, for the CEO, or for the employee?
For the employees. For the employees. The company, of course, chooses if they want to invest into this initiative, into our platform, but then it's up to the employees to decide whether they want to use it or not.
For legal purposes, do you make it where the company has to tell the employee that they signed up for Beaconforce? Do you understand? So they don't just take Beaconforce and then drop it on the employee without telling the employee. Could happen.
That happened, and that's why the most important thing that we do is an onboarding session, where we are we are there with people, by explaining them exactly what the product is about and why the company is investing money in into the platform to invest into their people. It's the first thing that we do, communicate the why to all the employees.
People are investments. They're like stocks. You invest in people. There's no difference between an equity and a person.
Absolutely, yes. The problem is that companies today are not investing in their people. They are investing on everything, in marketing, communication, new plans, but there's no investment on human resources.
Greed and being cheap. That's why that would have you out.
Yeah, actually, we're pretty cheap and effective.
Right.
Maybe raise the price.
Absolutely. Last question, Luca. What is your vision of the future for Beaconforce?
Oh, there's so many things that we're going to do. What we launched so far is just like a small piece of the puzzle. We are a few weeks away to import biometric data from wearables. The technology finally is ready, and the latest generations of wearable are supporting this kind of initiative. And facial and voice recognition will follow, and later on advanced geolocalization. So basically, we're going to grab everything from the environment, from the body, from the perception, until we will create like a full understanding on how people are doing, what really motivates them, and how we can recreate like an environment, a work environment, where they can have fun, they can be engaged, they can be productive, and it's sort of like making work feeling less like work.
There's definitely a place in the world of business for Beaconforce.
You think so?
I think so, no matter what continent. It doesn't matter. This is a worldwide service that you guys provide, so it's not just the United States.
Absolutely, yes. We launched in May, but we already got a crazy traction. We are working already with global companies, with some Fortune 500 companies. There's no a country or a geography or an industry better than the others. Like everybody needs it.
Excellent. He is Luca Rossetti, Beaconforce. Thanks for joining us on New to the Street.
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you.